Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
My guys, it's nice to see you again.
Hello.
So, this is episode 202 of the world-renowned Sleazy Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Sleazy, and I am joined by my right-hand man, Mr. PBS.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
So soothing. Love that music.
Yeah, I know. And, of course, the one, the only, Robzilla.
Hello.
Go fuck yourself.
I just had to wait for the right time to
Fantastic.
use that. You're going to hear that at least 20 times through that.
Best role
episode.
Tom Cruise ever did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeet, yeet,
Yeah.
yeet.
So we've got a little bit of things to go through this episode. You know, we're going to do an opening here as we do every show, any show ever does. We'll discuss some things in the opening. Then we're going to go right into the latest UAP whistleblower. And some of this stuff is just insanely crazy. I mean, it's preposterous, the things that this man is claiming that the government contracts people to do. And then we're going to go to our newest favorite segment, Zilla's Tubi pick. I think hopefully you got a good one lined up for us, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. And then we're going to talk about Netflix a little bit. There's, once again, another price hike. And then, we'll close the show out with Paradise, and I'm sure we'll talk about some things in between there. So Paradise is a new show on Hulu. So let's just get into it, man. We've got planes falling from the sky. We've got tariffs being imposed on different countries. And it is, these past 2 weeks have been really crazy. Really crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in PBS, you posted something from CBS here.
Yeah, I just kind of picked a random article, but I'm thinking this is our moment to become conservative grifters.
Yeah.
We're three straight white guys. We're the no DEI podcast.
Yeah.
We only have the best and the brightest here. DEI is DONE.
This is our chance to pivot to right wing grifters for the next 4 years.
I'm sorry, Rob. Your autism does not excuse you on here.
Never make an excuse for it. I promote that shit.
All right, so this comes from CBS News. President Trump on Saturday signed an executive order that imposes 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico, while adding an additional 10% levy on goods from China, because we don't get anything from China, right?
Yeah.
Canada responded hours later with retaliatory tariffs of its own, while Mexico said it was planning to issue tariffs on the U.S. as well. China's Commerce Secretary said that China would challenge the tariffs, though the World Trade Organization, according to Reuters, claiming that the move seriously violates WTO rules. The salvo, which Mr. Trump had threatened even before returning to power earlier this month, underlines his willingness to use trade policy even against some of the U.S.'s largest economic allies. It also signals the president's first major turn away from his promise on the campaign trail to rapidly reduce everyday costs for Americans once in office. This is very true. That's all we heard for the past year, right? Day one, I'm gonna make everything cheaper.
Day one, even before office, I'm gonna stop the wars.
It's gonna go back, and you're gonna be so tired of winning. You're going to be so tired of winning, and you'll never have to vote again.
I haven't heard that one this term. I haven't heard the tired of winning.
In a Truth Social post on Sunday morning, Mr. Trump acknowledged some pain could come with the new wave of tariffs, but insisted his vision for the country will be worth the price that must be paid. Okay. This will be the golden age of America. Will there be some pain? Yes. Maybe and maybe not, he wrote.
I love that line.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Maybe not. But we will make America great again, and it will all be worth the price that must be paid. We are a country that is now being run with common sense. I would
That's his new thing. Common sense.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
From a guy that, says a lot of things that aren't common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the results will be spectacular. The tariffs take effect at 12:01 a.m. Tuesday. While the order imposes 25% tariffs on goods from Canada, energy resources such as oil and gas will be hit with only a 10% tariff. The order notes that should any of the three nations retaliate against the United States with import duties or similar measures, the president may increase or expand the scope the duties imposed under this order to ensure the efficacy of this action. According to White House, the salvo is aimed at curbing the flow of undocumented immigrants and illicit drugs into the U.S., spurring a resurgence in domestic manufacturing and raising federal revenue. What do you think? Do you think that's going to curb people from coming here? And do you think that's going to raise the federal revenue, as they said there at the end?
They've been asking the question, is the point to make America so shitty that they just don't want to come here?
I'd rather just stay where I'm at and suffer here. At least I have a better chance of surviving.
And we've already seen, just one example, auto part companies that have factories from Canada, U.S., and Mexico, they're saying, hey, we can't afford these tariffs, and we're just going to shut down. Mm-hmm. The cost is going to be too great that it's going to impact anything. So,
have you heard him, or have you watched any of the times he signs the executive orders? He always has. I don't know who's handing them to him. I got to figure that out.
It's that one guy, and he always reads it off to him.
Yeah, he's always like, "What's this one do?"
Even though it has a Post-it note on it that says what it is.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is this guy just signing executive order after executive order that he doesn't know what it says?
He can't fucking read. He doesn't know what he's signing.
Well,
I'll sign it.
And when we get to our next segment, I wanted to point out, like, no one's talking about this crazy ass whistleblower because there's so much that they're flooding the media with as far as executive orders that it's meant to confuse people and make you not focus on every one of them, and instead pick the one. Yeah, instead pick the one that challenges your thoughts the most. But
well, a lot of them don't even do anything really.
No, it's just like bullshit, orders or whatever. Like,
it's like, I'm signing this executive order to bring back the First Amendment and freedom of speech.
Here's an executive order that says DEI is DONE.
As he turns and looks, is that good, President Musk? Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing that's scary.
He's a terrorist.
They're saying his aides are going into the Treasury and installing hard drives and everything else, and now they've got access to people's Social Security numbers. Mm-hmm. This is scary stuff, and you can say what you want to say. You didn't vote for that. You didn't vote for that. Cutting spending and gaining access to stuff you shouldn't have access to is two totally different things.
Yeah, I don't trust Elon Musk.
No. He's a criminal. I mean,
you look at that guy, you're like,
the guy's manipulated markets in his favor. I mean, he's blatant. The things that people complain about the politicians doing,
he does.
He is eclipsed, over the years as far as criminal activity. And let's face it, anybody that has money like he does is never going to go to jail or pay a stiff penalty. Like, I mean, the man is no longer in charge of Tesla because he broke laws, and the FCC smacked him down on it.
Did we? I don't believe we talked about the salute last episode, did we?
It's
we
Roman
didn't.
salute.
Yes,
it's
the Roman, I give you my heart salute.
That's kind of bullshit, though. Like, you read about that, and a lot of people say, like, oh, that's speculation, and there's really nothing that proves that the Romans did that, know. And so, I don't know. It was... I think, and let's just start from here. The excuses that people make up for him.
Yep.
My heart goes out to you. Okay, what does this gesture mean?
Smacks the shit out of his chest.
Yeah,
like Ric Flair chop.
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody that says my heart goes out to you that aggressively. And and then these people, they are so dishonest that they look for anything to kind of like cement their point of view, and they're like, look at this free shot right here. this screenshot right here proves that AOC is a Nazi.
Yeah.
Why don't you-
So
why don't
it's
you play the
okay
video?
for her to do it. I'm like, well, let's watch the video in full motion here. You know,
No.
she's talking like this and, emphasizing a point up here. And then they're like, Nazi. It's not, this. Even though I will say that one Power Rangers video you sent me, I was like, wow.
That's pretty
Never
tough.
even like thought crossed my mind. But, I was a kid back then. I don't think I knew what Nazis were, at that point in my life.
That way we just killed them all off, so it didn't matter.
Right.
I like somebody was suggesting that he was trying to do it more, not as blatantly.
Yeah.
You remember when Laura Ingraham did it like 4 years ago, where she went to
Vaguely.
wave like at Trump, who was all the way up here, but she held it just that second too long. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, she definitely.
Well, and here's another thing. People just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And I say behind the scenes lightly because it's not behind the scenes. It's out in the open. There's breadcrumbs following people.
Yeah.
The likes of fascist comments and the support of fascist political groups overseas that are challenging the democracy in Germany. And, he just spoke at that, a party thing for those
the
people.
far right party, yeah.
The is it the AFD?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but it's something for Germans or whatever, but they say AFD is the name of the party, I believe. But and the man had to go on a PR tour to prove that he wasn't a fascist Nazi.
Right.
And then you read the people that gave him the tour at the Auschwitz camp, and they're like, he just did not care. He didn't want to be there.
He was just there for PR.
Yeah, he was just there for pictures and just, and they tell you, like, when people see these piles of shoes, it just hits them. Your emotions get taken a hold of by the gravity of the remnants of what happened here. And, you could say like, oh, his autism. Yeah, I get that. He may not have an emotional thing to it, but even I would think an autistic person would be like, oh, wow, look at this. This is a lot right
That's
here.
not right.
And I just watched that movie, A Real Pain, last night. Jesse Eisenberg's movie.
I got to watch that. I don't want to watch that.
It's on Prime.
Yeah.
And there's a point where they're going through a concentration camp, and the guy's giving them a tour, and he's like, the blue stains on the wall are from the chemicals that they use to gas people here. And you just see that, and you're like, I mean, just sitting on, your lazy boy at home, you're like, damn, this is messed up. This is residue of extermination.
Right.
And then there's like one last scene where they go in and there's these giant fucking bins of shoes. And I mean, they're crammed in there. That's how many shoes they are. And I want to say they're like 6 or 7 feet tall bins. I mean, maybe even like 10 feet. I mean, I don't know. You can't, it's hard to judge it when you're just looking at it on the TV. But, I mean, stuff like that hits you and you're like, man, this is fucked up. Like on another level. I mean, this isn't like a dude, randomly getting punched in the face. This is some serious, like, extermination fucked up type things, And these poor people, and, you look at that, and how do you think a Jewish person feels when they see Elon Musk parading around on a stage and slapping that? These people, they this is educated to them at a very young age. This is what happened to our people. Mm. And this is what could happen if we don't keep up on these people. Because, you can say what you want to say. There's a lot of people that don't think highly of Jewish people. I mean, it just is what it is. Anti-Semitism,
I hate equally. I hate everybody. Just get something straight.
Rob's like the Jews, the black people, the Mexicans. I hate them all.
Hate them all. They all can get fucked.
Yeah, I just, I don't get where people are defending this guy. He's got a track record of liking hateful content, and
people follow him too. A lot of those groups follow him and like what he did.
Yeah, and if you don't think that that's a dog whistle for white nationalists, then they're already hitting X like, this is our guy. Yeah, this is our guy. He's going to usher in the movement of getting rid of everybody but white people, and it's dangerous. It's fascist. You can defend it all you want. It was a fascist gesture. in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, I think you agree with me.
He's a Nazi. That's all it is. I don't care.
I don't know if he's I don't think, we read the one post from like his former best friend. He was like, I don't think Elon's a Nazi. He doesn't want to exterminate people, but he's definitely a fascist. And he definitely knew what he was doing. This was planned. And, you can use the autism card all you want. The man has been in front of cameras for years. He's got PR representatives that, before he even goes out there are telling him what he should and shouldn't do. What's a good idea? What's a bad idea? This was a calculated movement, and he knew what he was doing, and he wanted people to go right to X and argue about it. Yeah, so mission accomplished, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to tariffs and
it's all linked together.
Yeah, it certainly is.
With this year we've been living, known as January, thankfully over.
Yeah, that month was super long, man.
When you get punched in the face for a whole month, it's kind of tough.
I don't, like we were talking about before Robzilla got here, what if the man is just so stupid that this actually works out on some blind luck? And, those of us that are history buffs, we know that tariffs are a bad thing.
Well, I mean,
to a degree.
Yeah. Tariffs themselves are just an economic tool, but you can't just blanket.
To blanket 25, 30, and 10% tariffs is a different story.
And especially in the world that we live in of economics and the way the supply lines work. And
it's not like it was in the 30s. Let's just say that, where we didn't have an extreme amount of data that suggests, if we raise tariffs on this, it's going to raise prices and people can't afford it. And then when we get rid of the tariffs, the data goes up and, people are buying this stuff and, the economy is going up, the GDP is going up with it. So, I mean, we have that data and we have the real-time data from, even the Trump and the Biden and Obama administrations that tell us, when we lower tariffs, people can afford to buy these products. The cost isn't necessarily passed down to the consumer. But I'm not an economist, so I can't give you like a full-on detail, only what I've read about and watched.
Well, you're practicing what Trump is preaching here. You have common sense.
I guess so.
And you can fucking read.
I mean, listen, I'm a progressive to a certain degree, a huge degree, obviously. But if if change works out, that's fine. But history tells us that this isn't a change that works out all the time. So it's something that you can't, like you said, blanket and just impose mass tariffs on things. It could be catastrophic and cause another Great Depression, recession. And that's just something that we can't afford right now.
Which maybe I'd argue is the point.
Yeah.
You hear those people all the time like, I always pay attention to Warren Buffett and all them. Like they're expecting a serious economic downturn.
Yeah.
They got their cash ready to buy. They're ready to go. Fire sale.
And that's another thing, everybody talks about the article from a few years ago where you will rent everything and be happy. And I think a next catastrophic economical event will cause that. I mean, home ownership is already out of reach for many people. We most certainly are not living better lives than our parents, and the next generation, Gen Z, is going to have it even harder. And we're not making things accessible for people to necessarily get the education they need, the skill set they need to be able to afford these things. And even when they do, they're so drowned in student debt, they can't afford, a house payment. I mean, you got to have 30 grand to get a house now. Let's be realistic here. And that's the down
probably
payment.
More.
That's not even the cost of closing and everything else that comes along with it, inspectors. And so, and people are like, you can get a grant. Like that grant's for like, what, $2 or $3 grand? I mean, state-wise, depending on what state you live in.
I mean, we've shared, houses for sale that should be condemned. They're like $100,000.
Yeah.
You're basically buying the land.
You're buying the land for $100,000.
And then you have to put another 300 grand for a basic house.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
New homes, new single-family homes today from new builds are anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000.
Yep.
So they're not building affordable housing. and it's a huge problem. There is a housing crisis. People can say what they want to say, but I mean, when people are on waiting lists and they're, affordable housing, like apartments from the government comes up and they go and they wait in line like it's for a PlayStation 5 or something, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem. But
We've talked about it before. You hear that stat that like 50% or whatever of Americans can't handle like an extra $1,000 or $500 bill, like if their car goes out, or a medical bill, and like that is terrifying. Because I could come up with that.
Yeah,
and I don't see myself as a particularly financially secure individual.
Right.
Yeah.
How do they feel?
Well, I believe Biden passed something where if you don't pay a medical bill, that doesn't affect your credit. It makes it harder for you to get a loan, but it doesn't affect your credit score.
And here's the thing, housing should be 25% of your take-home pay. There is no place, and I make above minimum wage. I make I would say I'm close to having a decent income, but
it's not enough.
And it's not 25%. It's more like 46 to 50%. And your wages aren't going up with inflation and all this. And, we're not just talking about stuff at the grocery store. We're talking about your car insurance. I can tell you firsthand, my car insurance has gone up almost 50% the past 2 years.
You'll send like a screenshot like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's true.
It's ridiculous, dude. Every 6 months it goes up $10-$20.
Well, we can blame it on the Kia boys. So that's
yeah. I mean, there's different things. Parts are shipped in from Mexico and Canada. And like when I got my truck fixed, there was a big issue like, oh, we don't know if we can fix this within 2 weeks because the part may not come in on time.
Yeah.
And now that part's going to have a tariff placed on it, and it's going to be even more expensive.
And that's going to skyrocket.
And that's going to cause car insurance to go up even more. Mm-hmm. And it does our pay, do we get an increase to pay for the tax increases on our homes? And
of course not.
And the increase on your car insurance, the increase on your groceries? No, you don't. Inflation may be down to 2.5%, but that's not total inflation.
So look, it may be down, but you know what? The thing is, the average American person does not feel it. That is down.
No, and it's a giant mess. And listen, for the people that voted for Trump for that reason, I fully understand why you're voting that way. You just aren't seeing change in your day-to-day activities. So,
are you tired of winning now?
You're going to see some change now.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting the next 4 years as far as what we see. And like when you think I wouldn't say common sense, but their logic they're using, you're like, oh, I get where they're coming from with wanting to use the tariffs. They want to create another income and lower taxes for everybody, but we don't have the infrastructure for that. There aren't businesses in place that can just pick up steam, to compete with these foreign adversaries. So it doesn't make any sense to raise the tariffs that high.
Well, we don't have the materials to build or create like these microchips and all this stuff as well. That's why we have to get those.
We're working on the microchips, even though he wants to kill the Chip Act. Even though, we've already, how far are they into the IBM chip thing here in Ohio?
Oh, like years.
They're like 40% into it already. My dad works in the labor unions, and he was like, we don't have enough manpower to handle the, what am I thinking of
demand
here? The demand for the labor in the entire state, let alone this area. And it's insane, dude. So, and we want to kill that progress for what? Just because you want to do away with the past president's achievements.
That's all it is. It's just like, well, who did it? Biden? Okay, I'm just going to roll it back. That's all it is.
And it's
all it is.
Very similar to his first term, where the first couple of weeks it was just executive orders to wipe out anything Obama achieved. And to me, that isn't being patriotic. It's not being presidential. It's not showing the best intent for the American people, but it is what it is at this point. We're just going to have to ride it out, and the Democrats are going to have to make a case to earn voters back from the working class.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to, though.
No.
I think there's so much distrust in the government nowadays that it's just never going to happen. There's always going to be this divide between us, and people can't, they can't be crybabies and sit at home and not vote because one thing the president has done is so against your your philosophies or whatever, because there's something worse on the other side waiting for you when you don't vote. Elections have consequences, and that's just the end of the story there. So
FAFO, fuck around, find out.
But man, do you not find yourself looking up at the sky now when you're driving?
Yeah,
with all these goddamn plane crashes. I'm literally like, anytime I hear like a plane, I'm like looking up, making sure it's not coming down towards me. I'm paranoid as fuck now after seeing these plane crashes, and that one in Philly.
Yeah,
it was like, I guess it was like a medical flight. So yeah, but
that's Biden's fault.
I don't know what caused that, because you look at that thing, it is booking straight into the ground.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't like the one. What was it, the F-30? Did you see the F-35 that crashed?
No, I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, dude, this was in Alaska. And I think that was more or less like a malfunction of something, but the pilot was able to eject and was safe. But you just see it like spinning around all the way to the ground.
Let me stop you there. It's DEI.
It's DEI, yeah.
DEI.
Before you go any further, it's all DEI.
When you have retarded people directing the air traffic, things happen and helicopters crash into planes. That's another weird one, dude. Did you see that? I mean, that helicopter flew right into the plane. Like, it didn't even try to avoid it.
He could have stopped it. It's not the hardest stopping an aircraft. I've been in helicopters. You can stop them.
Well, the guy owns a helicopter, I'm pretty sure, right? So,
yeah, probably.
I mean, he knows how they fly, and even he was like, yeah, he didn't even try to avoid it. I mean, it was full on. And I guess there was some issue with them being up higher than what they should have been. So that area there in D.C. is very congested with air traffic, between planes landing, taking off, and helicopters going in for military operations. But I want to know what officials were on, what military personnel was on that flight. Was it three military guys died in that, or 4?
In the helicopter?
Yeah.
There was 3 people in the helicopter.
So I want to know, because there was some speculation that there was a high-ranking military official in there, which I'm sure that would have came out by now. But I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah. I want to...
Just a blur anymore.
Let's see if we can find that Philly plane crash real quick and put it up here for people watching on YouTube.
Yeah, American
Mr. President, are you going to go
democracy
to the site? What, in the water? Am I going to swim to it?
That was another thing. Like, can he not just say things to put people at ease? That's part of being...
Yeah.
That's part of being the president, is like putting the country at ease and not saying stupid shit,
Well, it's so petty and like juvenile. Well, Biden wrote that bill. Well, I'm going to roll it back.
As a matter of fact, Mr. President, why don't you get in a helicopter and go straight up there too?
Who's willing to make that sacrifice and crash this plane with Trump in it?
Okay, so we put this on screen for everybody. I like how they use
the sad
this
music.
Yeah,
that's just so depressing. I have to switch my.
Look at that! That thing was booking, wasn't it? It looked like an ICBM. Sorry. Boom. I guess they had a patient on board. They were flying them or something. Did you see the one video of the guy? He's in like the drive-thru. Yeah, the drive-thru, and he's like, "Fuck." Yeah, let's see if we can find. This one was earlier in the week.
It is weird how all of these happen at the same time.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you've got the Trump administration like doing freezing hires or hiring freezes,
firing everybody that runs these organizations.
The head of the TSA or whatever. It's just
look at this. You can see the guy's clearly he's already ejected, but look at that thing. It's like it just went dead.
An F-35 fell from the sky during a training mission.
Well, it's like it got hit by an EMP.
Yeah.
It's like just shut down.
It is crazy, dude. And then obviously we'll talk about this helicopter. We'll show this helicopter crash. Flew right into that thing. Crazy stuff, man.
And like you said, you keep looking up this guy. So I just watched the TV show I told you about, 3-Body Problem, and I keep looking up, waiting for a fucking supercomputer just to show itself and to start an EMP.
See the digits in the air.
Yeah.
You've got 4 days left or something like that.
These are the stars. No,
that's such a great show, by the way.
Yes.
Oh man. So okay, we're gonna move on here because we're at a half hour. So what was it? I want to say we recorded on a Friday last time, right?
Yeah.
The day after, Ross Coulthart had a news special on News Nation that Saturday. It was a special about a whistleblower, and boy, oh boy, do we have some crazy UAP/UFO news going on. And once again, I mean, it's just not being covered by mainstream media because there's so much stuff being injected into the media, and it just kind of fell through the cracks. But I think this is some crazy stuff, and it's worth talking about. I mean, I always talk about alien shit, but it's definitely. I'll say this: how many times have I told you Dr. Greer's a fucking, he's just crazy because he's out there in deserts saying he's communicating and summoning UAPs and UFOs, and now we've got a military whistleblower that says he ran operations and he has a team that does this on the regular, and supposedly they had a meeting with billionaires where they showcase this ability to, they call it psionics, but they were able to summon a craft for, a small audience. And Gary Nolan was there, and people interviewed Gary Nolan about it. And he's like, listen, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I saw the witnesses and then we watched it back on the video, and clear as day, you can see it in the video. And they showed that video, and it pops up, but it moves so quick. You can barely see it, so you got to get freeze frame clips of it. But man, oh man, crazy stuff here. So let's go to, this is News Nation. Oh God, I hate these pop-ups, don't you? Mm-hmm. UAP whistleblower says UFO retrieval program exists. News Nation exclusive. Pilot says he worked as a contractor for secret organization. Jake Barber believes he recovered craft of non-human origin. And so this had video. He had video he shared too of, he was a helicopter pilot, obviously, and they recovered an egg-shaped craft that, obviously they get coordinates and then they don't really know what they're getting aside from, specs, obviously. And he shared some of the video of it, and clear as day, it's like a 20-foot giant egg, it looks like. So a lot of people were saying it was a blimp, and they showed these like 20-foot blimps, but you can't attach a blimp to a helicopter. Like it would, fly up into the rotors and everything else and swing around.
You trying to tell me the aliens have giant eggs?
Could be.
Tariff the aliens.
It's so funny that these eggs are coming out, and then you think of the old Robin Williams show where he played an alien and he came in an egg, and it makes you wonder if there's like always been some conditioning of the public for a future disclosure of some sort in the future. But here we go. News Nation. A U.S. Air Force veteran believes he was involved in the recovery of alien technology while working for a long-rumored secret UFO retrieval program. In an exclusive interview with News Nation, whistleblower Jake Barber said he was contracted as a helicopter pilot to retrieve all kinds of downed craft, some of which he believes are non-human origin. Just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell it was extraordinary and anomalous. Barber told News Nation's Ross Coulthart it was not human. When asked to describe the object, Barber said, I saw an egg, a white egg. He added, it's inconsistent with anything I've ever seen before. And I can also tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary. Ooh, here's a little clip. We'll play that after we read a little bit more. Over the last couple of years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we were working with that night was in fact NHI, non-human intelligence. That's what they call aliens now, because obviously they don't, the people that are saying this, they just don't know where these things are coming from. So obviously the correct woke term would be non-human intelligence.
DEI.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if Trump came on and he was like, we're getting rid of NHI. It's aliens. That's all we're going to say. Okay.
You don't want them here.
Get back to your own planet.
Coming across our borders.
We've got to get the aliens out of America.
Mutilating our American cows.
You wonder why the price of steak has gone up? It's because these aliens are categorizing our cows.
You talk to Mork from Mork and Mindy. He'll tell you.
They're sufficiently decreasing the supply and the demand for cows. Okay. So, and it was not a unique experience, Barber said. 3 high-level military veterans are backing up Barber's story on the record and on camera to News Nation. So my question is, do you support the troops, or are these dudes batshit crazy? Can you say they're batshit crazy and still support the troops? I think you can. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, told News Nation it's aware of the claim. Department of Defense spokesman Susan Go said in a statement, has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently. That Susan Go's a real cunt, by the way. She was the head of AARO testified, and when they would ask him a question, and sure enough, he would look over am I allowed to answer this? Am I allowed to answer this? And then you'd see her whispering in his ear and shit. She knows a lot more than what she's putting on. News Nation has also obtained an exclusive, never before seen video of one of these alleged UFO crash retrievals. The video and full interviews will air on Saturday's special report, Hunting for UFOs, blah, 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 blah. You can watch that on News Nation's channel or on the YouTube channel. So I'm sure there's an on-demand if you got cable or whatnot. But let's see if we can find this real quick. Go ahead and, Rob, how do you feel about this? And then we'll get PBS's thoughts.
Shit's getting crazy. That's the only thing I got to say. It's just, and I do believe that, like you mentioned, these, billionaires are showing up and seeing things. And
the question is, how can we reverse engineer these things and make money off of it? That's the next thing.
Talk to Bob Lazar.
And it's a race between countries. If this is a race. If this is indeed true, there's obviously a race going on behind this. There's another Cold War going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Yeah. And whoever controls this technology will control the world.
It's more like a tech war, basically.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Let's see if we can find this on
China.
Yeah.
It's all China's fault.
So what do you think? Do you think this guy's full of shit, or do you think that he's telling some truth here?
With this situation, I don't really think it's full of shit, just because I do see a lot of that
and
getting reverse engineered, and
they say that this guy's the real deal too. And they interviewed him, and they were like, "Aren't you scared of people coming after you and killing you over this?" Because they say people have been killed for trying to whistleblow in the past. And this guy full on said, "I'm the fucking boogeyman. Don't come to my house and try to kill me." So, you got to have balls to say that on live television.
Or he could have said, "I got cancer. I'm going to die in 6 months anyway, so it doesn't matter."
And that's another thing. He had, after one of the retrievals, he got sick really, really bad. And finally, somebody hooked him up with Gary Nolan because he was losing all of his hair. And they said he had symptoms of radiation poisoning. And he was like, when we pick something up that's, a biohazard, we have special, obviously suits and
protocols and
how to handle it. And he was like, they told us there was a drop point, and supposedly there's data on all these things that are showing up in the sky, and there's a war for the data. Gunfights and all kinds of things this guy was saying. So, it is like some Tom Clancy shit that this guy's talking about. It's so crazy. And I haven't even talked about the psionic part, really. They're saying that the government's recruiting people that can summon these things, and it's children to gay people, gay dudes, obviously, to women, because there's something about the feminine energy that attracts these things.
There's something about DEI.
Right. I wonder if DEI will affect that.
We don't want no cis white.
That's why Trump's got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
He's saving the planet.
We got a little advertisement here. So what's your thoughts, PBS?
Me?
I don't
really.
It's so fucking crazy. You have to have a moment until it's actually right in front of your face.
Yeah. Like I said, let me know when Robzilla gets abducted.
What if he's already been abducted?
It would explain a few things.
Don't use my tism as an excuse.
Can't explain. Congressional hearings, Pentagon whistleblowers, armadas of strange aircraft flying over, of all places, New Jersey. What does it all mean? Well, since last year's groundbreaking interview with whistleblower David Grush, News Nation's been out front on this story, and we've got another major exclusive. A new whistleblower is coming forward saying he's not just saying he's heard about a secret government program to retrieve UFO crash remains. He says he's worked on this program. He claims to have video to prove it and credentialed colleagues who back him up, and he has the attention of at least one senior lawmaker. News Nation's Ross Coulthart has been working on this story for more than a year. He conducted the interview for a special report airing right here this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And News Nation correspondent Joe Khalil is here with a first look. Joe, these are pretty stunning claims.
Yeah, they are, Elizabeth. The man you saw in the video, Jake Barber, he's an Air Force veteran, and he is coming forward with some shocking claims. The first person to go public saying that he actually participated directly in a secret military program that he believes was to retrieve UAP or alien craft. Now, Barber says he was contracted as a helicopter pilot. He retrieved all kinds of crashed craft. Some of it, he says, top secret and explainable. Others, he says, however, he believes were non-human origin. It's not just him. We've got 3 other military veterans backing up his story on the record and on camera to News Nation. So take a listen quickly to just part of Ross Coulthart's conversation with Barber.
So tell me about the moment when you realized that you were involved in a retrieval
that guy took a bump before he went on, didn't he?
Non-human technology, alien tech.
So it became very clear the first time our communication process and procedure was modified. And then just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell that it was extraordinary and anomalous. It was not human.
How close did you get?
Well, I was a helicopter pilot, and I operate with 150 foot to 200 foot long line. So I got within 150 feet of this object.
What did you see?
I saw an egg, a white egg.
Was there any visible propulsion system on it?
No, not what we would know. There's no engine. There was no thermal signature.
I love the music they're playing with this.
At night when I finally came in to pick it up, so I'm working under night vision goggles at the time. And it was quite clear. I flipped them up, flipped them down, and looked at it a couple of different ways.
How did you know that that egg-shaped object was non-human in origin?
Well, visually, after seeing all kinds of things in my past, it was clearly something that was ridiculously looking. It's inconsistent with anything I'd ever seen before. I can also tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary.
And at no stage were you ever subsequently told that the craft was of non-human origin?
I will tell you that during this process over the last couple of years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we were working with that night was in fact NHI, and it was not a unique experience.
He even describes at one point, he didn't just pick up an egg. There was an 8 gone, a military thing, but a saucer with 8 sections on top. And he said when he picked this one up, he had like some kind of interaction with it where his emotions, like he just had some kind of connection with it, and his emotions, he felt like all kinds of like feminine love and energy, and like he thought he was going to crash the helicopter because he was so overwhelmed with emotions. So I don't know. I mean,
sounds to me like everything he described could just be Robzilla.
Yes.
Anomalous.
You think Rob is like walking around down on the ground?
Anomalous, pale, egg-shaped.
We should totally Photoshop
non-human intelligence. Yep.
We should totally Photoshop Rob's face on the egg. This is like flying.
I like
away.
him like Starman with autism,
right?
Basically.
What is? I just watched Starman the other week with Jane. He always calls her by her full name. Like,
oh yeah,
I forget what her last name was. like the tone that he speaks to her in is like, very alien, obviously. Oh, that's just Robzilla. I wonder if he had like flashes of like shitty horror movies on Tubi in his mind. That's why he almost crashed.
I'm feeling the urge to sit on my couch.
That's my lifeline, is the couch. If I don't lay on it, my life just gets drained away.
I'm looking here. Let's see here. Egg-shaped. We'll do UAP, retrieve video. All right.
News Nation has independently obtained previously unseen video obtained from a secret UAP craft retrieval program. This extraordinary footage clearly shows an egg-shaped object dangling in a sling.
By the way, is he not have like the best voice ever?
Yeah.
I could listen to him talk about everything. Like he had one episode where he went to Egypt and did all this shit. And I was just like, just sitting there like a fucking kid on a Saturday morning. Like, I fucking love this guy, man.
Sounds like he should be doing the new Unsolved Mysteries or something.
Right? They really should. Somebody with some fucking money, get Ross Coulthart on Unsolved Mysteries. Because that's what Unsolved Mysteries is missing now is a host.
Yeah.
Like that Robert Stack.
Like it's too documentary styled, and I don't like that. I want the host that gives me the creepy vibe of the story.
Yeah. I need a creepy trench coat.
Yeah.
Foggy background.
In the cemetery.
Like somebody that sets the mood of the story that gets me into it.
You see him come on, you're
belly
like,
of the helicopter.
Yep.
Let's slow this down to take a closer look.
That's
an egg-shaped UAP suspended from a 150-foot long line. We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. Let's
precious cargo
into land.
Freeze frame here to look at one of the clearest images of a UAP ever taken. This is no blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage putting themselves at incredible risk to record this UAP retrieval. Look at how perfectly smooth the craft is. No markings at all, and no visible means of propulsion or way to see inside. Watch how it rolls, almost graceful as it hits the ground, despite being wrapped in the ropes and canvas from the cradle as it's dropped for pickup. The UAP's final destination still unknown.
That's just Robzilla getting dropped off the podcast.
Yeah. That's just me falling off the couch.
Yeah. It's Rob getting out of bed.
God damn it.
I mean,
his cradle.
What's the saying? Life is often stranger than fiction? Something of that nature?
Fiction. Yeah.
You would know. You're the reader out of all of us.
Yeah.
Is that the saying? So, I don't know. I mean, I've always said that Dr. Stephen Greer was so fucking crazy. The minute I saw him cry over a fetus, thinking it was an alien or something when they were inspecting it, it was this tiny little, like, it looks like a fetus. And he's, like, crying over it in, like, one of the first documentaries. And I was like, what is this guy doing? He's a doctor. He should know what this looks like, you know? And then there was, like, I want to say it was, like, his last big documentary. It was on his CE5 shit, which is them going out to the desert and meditating, and through the meditation they summon UFOs that fly around. And I mean, there is shit flying around out in the sky, but I don't know if he's paying somebody to send a high-tech drone up there. But I mean, he's got Demi Lovato goes out there with him and does all that shit. But
yeah, she ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah, I mean, it probably keeps her off drugs. So
I doubt that. She's probably on him doing that.
I don't know, man. I always said he was full of shit, but then, you know, we keep having more and more people come out and talking about this shit. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe he was on to something, and maybe I owe him an apology. But until I'm able to do it myself and witness it myself or go and see this, you know, it is what it is. You just have to take it for what it is, entertainment, I guess. But something fishy is up, that's for sure. I mean, there's just too many things slipping through the cracks for it to be all bullshit, in my opinion. So I don't know whether it's, and we know that the CIA and the government have done stuff with mind control, and they've financed remote viewing. We know for a fact that they did that for years, and they still do it to this day.
Indigo Swan.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think when you start to see this many things pop up, there's something there to it. But who knows? I mean, Elon Musk and everybody have come up with that technology where the paraplegic guy can play video games with his mind, but that's with technology implanted. So
maybe Robzilla can read up on it and give us some keen insight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more insight you could have other than this, but I did find it funny.
I'm sure you could find a book to read on the subject.
Yeah. There's definitely
probably one on his stand right next to his couch.
Yeah,
gathering dust.
Yep.
I was waiting for you.
Have you read a page yet? What's the problem, dude?
Have you read the back cover to know what the book is about?
Oh, he knows what the book is about. I've even read like a couple pages for him, like we did on the one episode.
He gave me a blankie and he set me next to the fire.
So if you there's a book back behind you there on my little table there.
If I touch it, I'll burn.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Touch it real quick. I just want to see. Yeah, look now
at the Pentagon.
Now I want you to read a paragraph on the back of that for us, just to prove to everybody that you do know how to read.
He's gonna look like remember when they gave Trump his deposition papers?
Yeah,
he's just kind of like
look, he's already handed it off.
Wait, hand it to me.
He's like,
just hand it to me.
I'm not very far into that book yet.
What is this?
I mean, you can tell I'm not very far into that. I literally read just a chapter when I get off work, and that's some crazy shit. That's talking about the Skinwalker Ranch and how they sent people to investigate it, and they call it the hitchhiker effect. When people go there, sometimes stuff follows them home. But this family, this guy that was there with the government on a contract or something, his family talks about seeing like the wolf
demon thing,
yeah, it's like on two legs, and they said they looked out the window and it's just they're staring at them, and they feel fear from it. Like, how we were just talking about Jake Barber was feeling love, and they think that there's all these different entities that elicit different emotions out of you. And then they talk about seeing orbs and stuff in their house and shit too, and that. So something's going on. I mean,
I remember they've had a couple documentaries on like Hulu, but they talk about orbs flying.
And that's another thing that Lou Elizondo, in the book I gave you, he talks about the hitchhiker effect and how when they started investigating certain things, his family started seeing orbs just floating through the house. So, I mean, is he lying? Is he just making this up for entertainment? That's what, kind of becomes. But
Rob said an orb gave him an overwhelming feeling of laziness.
Yeah.
And that's why he couldn't reach the
There was an orb by that book, and it just gave me a feeling not to get up off the fucking couch.
I was looking at that book, and I just felt fear.
Well, Blaze came out just like in Phantasm, and it came after me.
I had the sudden urge to open up Tubi and watch something completely full of shit.
I lost track of. There was a light, and I lost track of time. And the next thing I know, I'm 30 minutes into a Tubi movie.
The next thing I knew, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and it was time to start a shitty movie.
It was time to start it.
That's when I felt the need to have a 8-movie marathon day. Like, he doesn't even deny it now; he just takes it. You don't have to keep holding that book, by the way. You can put it back.
I was thinking about what we do in the shadows. It burns.
Yeah.
It burns.
Speaking of which, we're going to move on to your Robzilla's Tubi pick of the week.
Rawr.
All right, I'm looking here. God, I got all these people messaging me. Like,
stop it.
My Facebook Messenger goes off all day long.
It's like ding, 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 ding.
Okay, view more comments. I just want to look this up real quick. Where'd you post it at? Is it up here?
Yeah, I put it in like a Tubi.
Oh, here we go. I see what you did. You just put I don't know what it is. I'm not clicking on that YouTube.
What's the link for it?
What's the name?
Benny Loves You.
I'm going to Letterboxd for this. Benny Loves You?
Benny Loves You.
Okay. Let's put this up on the screen. That's great. Oh, this looks entertaining. This looks like something you would... Dude, listen.
Anything with puppets.
Anything with puppets that have vulgar activity and violence is a win for Robzilla.
It's very true.
I really wanted to watch your last Tubi pick, and I haven't done it yet because I've been so busy.
That's okay.
I get on that fucking NCAA 25, dude.
Just
like we're in a
different dimension.
We're in a dynasty now, and we've all like learned how to recruit now. And the hours I spend like going through and scouting people for speed and trying to talk them into coming to my university, I just zone out some days, and I'm like,
sometimes we need that.
Yeah. So Benny loves you. Here's the synopsis. Don't throw him out. Jack, a man desperate to improve his life, throws away his beloved childhood plush, Benny. It's a move that has disastrous consequences when Benny springs to life with deadly intentions. Oh, shit. Once again, he's got another movie that's almost, it's a 2.8 average rating.
And, that's my problem with this whole segment so far, including last week's. Like, last week's looked like it might have been an entertaining movie, and that's not what this is about.
Rob he's surprising us all, like he's actually becoming a producer right in front of our eyes.
Trying to, anyways.
As soon as we don't want him to pick something worth watching, he starts picking things worth watching.
Like, I don't know what kind of dimension I'm in here right now.
All right, so let's we got to watch the trailer, right?
Yeah.
The bear, he'll kill you all.
This is Benny, made just for you. As long as
just
you have
for
your
you.
way inside, nothing can ever hurt you.
Not even the demons in the hallway.
Apart from them.
My story begins when I turned 35.
Jack, the company want foreclosure on the loan. Repossess your house.
I have to get this finished.
Lots of people are saying you're already finished.
If you bought this tape, you're a loser. It's time to let go of the past. Do not fear change. Embrace it.
Rubbish.
Is it?
He can't be bargained with. He doesn't feel pity or remorse. He absolutely will not stop until you are dead.
Play with Benny.
Wow.
It's fun. It's a funny movie.
I appreciate the Terminator reference. But
yeah.
That he totally went Raphael on him there with the what do they call those?
Size.
Yeah. And the backflip over the flamethrower was epic.
Can make it epic, yeah.
Yeah, that looks interesting. It's
entertaining.
That's a movie you definitely watch when you've had an edible. And
basically anything I'm probably promoting you need to watch with an edible.
I feel like that's you invite your boys over for the night and have some pizza and you throw on a shitty movie and
just like that sorority like slumber party massacre, like it's so bad, but it's fucking hilarious.
Some of this stuff is so hilarious and entertaining.
It's so bad, yeah.
Friend of the show, Monster Popcorn, gives that a 1.5 star.
He has a review on here too.
Well, I got that from actually the we follow on TikTok Alexis Chainsaw Massacre. She had like the top 4 like funny horror movies.
Hey, horror fucks.
She's awesome.
I love her, dude.
Yeah,
she's so
awesome.
authentic.
Yeah.
So Popcorn wrote, the Benny puppet is a fun concept, but the movie surrounding it is poorly written, weird, in a not great way.
Pretty much.
And perhaps tone deaf. Gave it a chance until a scene with a dog death that goes on for too long. Just left a bad taste. Even though the dead dog was obviously a fake, checked out after that. No rating since I didn't feel the need to finish it. Wow.
He's really not wrong.
He gave it a 1.5. Wow, that's crazy, dude. I don't like seeing dogs die.
Yeah.
You know, not all dogs go to heaven. I don't care what they tell you. I don't want to see that shit.
Charlie? Shit's depressing. I didn't hear that.
Love you.
Benny loves you.
Man, so
an honorable mention. So I'm not sure.
He's got an honorable mention.
Well, this is nostalgia to me. So on Tubi, they do have a lot of my personal favorite, which I've grown up watching a lot when I was a kid, was Movie Science Theater 3000. So they have like the 92 and 93, and then they have like the 98.
What was that again?
Movie Science Theater 3000, the TV show.
I thought it was it Mystery Science?
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
God damn, dude.
I know. Fucking up.
Get your shit together, bro.
But I don't know I haven't seen if they have like the newer, like the 2020 or whatever they have, but they have like the 1998.
I thought those were like a Netflix or whatever exclusive.
They might be.
Whatever streaming service that was.
But still.
You terrible human being.
I love it.
Laughing at dogs dying on screen.
No, I don't laugh at that.
He was cracking up.
I crack up when people get cut in the throat by a puppet, which is I think is hilarious.
Yeah, that is funny. That the part where he stabbed that dude in the hand. Yeah. Like it looks entertaining. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
it looks like a Robzilla endorsed Tubi movie.
Yeah. We need to get a stamp thing like Zilla approved.
So throw down a couple edibles and watch that movie.
Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to the next segment here. And, listen, I hate to talk about this shit. It feels like we talk about this shit like every 6 months, even though they say it's been, 2 years since the last Netflix price hike?
I refuse to believe that.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Can't do it. Okay, so this one comes from NPR.org. So another PBS favorite. Netflix raises monthly fees after a record jump in new subscribers. Kind of bullshit right there, right? You've got all this record growth and you're raising the prices. Something seems fucking up with that.
I'm just wondering if the Netflix CEO will be staying at the Manhattan Hilton anytime soon.
Yeah. Yep. First, the good news. Netflix reported a record increase in the number of new subscribers for the final quarter of 2024. And you can thank WWE for that, probably.
That's not good news for us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Attributing the success to high-profile live sports events and new programs. Now the bad news. The company also announced it's raising its subscription prices across the board. 3 things to know. The company reported nearly 19 million new subscribers during the last physical quarter of 2024, their largest subscription jump ever during a 3-month period. Again, I think you can point to WWE for that with them moving Raw there. That puts them at a total of 302 million global subscribers, but they're hurting for fucking money.
They are hurting.
The most of any streaming platform. Netflix also announced a bump in prices for all subscription tiers in the U.S. The standard account with ads now costs $7.99 per month. Ad-free subscriptions are $17.99, while the premium plan is $24.99. This reflects price hikes of $1, $2.50, and $2 per month, respectively. This comes months after Netflix's last price hike, when the company eliminated its least expensive ad-free option. What's Netflix doing right? Well, it seems that the company forays into live sports have resonated with viewers. In their letter to investors, the company focused on the success of their highly promoted live stream boxing match between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Fucking disaster that was.
Stupid.
On November 15th, the match drew 60 million households who could barely watch the match. We'll just say that. And according to Netflix, makes it the most streamed sporting event in the history, despite significant technical glitches, which left subscribers fuming and critics wondering if Netflix could pull off such a large-scale events. Its next big sporting events went off with fewer problems. 2 NFL matches that streamed on the platform weeks later and included a widely talked about Beyonce halftime show. A very expensive reboot of WWE wrestling. It's not a reboot. They're just moving Raw to it. Mm-hmm. This person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Is also in the mix for 2025. Another factor for Netflix's success, popular shows that outperform the company's expectations, like the second season of Squid Game. The industry's largest streaming platform is hoping audiences are just as eager for other shows returning in 2025, with new seasons such as Wednesday and Stranger Things. I mean, I think it's uncalled for, these price hikes. You know, they overspend on entertainment, and it's poor quality entertainment at that.
Yeah.
And they only have maybe, 2 hit shows a year? 3 at the most that we're talking about here?
Yeah. I think they're really banking on Stranger Things.
They act like it's a fucking necessity that people have this. Like, I mean, is ESPN included in this? Then it's not a necessity for a lot of people. You know, they've pretty much become their own, like, cable company, I would say. Yeah. I mean, it's clearly not as expensive as cable, but, you know, I don't mind. I don't think when's the last time you had a price increase on Max? I mean, we've had like 1, maybe 2.
I mean, it's been
years,
a little bit, but
they're
doing it too much too.
The quality of shows is a lot higher there, you know? And if I'm going to say what's the best bang for my buck as far as streaming goes, I'm going to tell you to go to Apple TV.
I was going to say Apple TV.
Apple TV, every show is a fucking knockout there. And, you know, they're kind of about the same as far as movies go, compared to Netflix. It's streaming quality, but I just don't see I don't, you know, I understand that they pass off a couple bucks to the consumer, but we're in a time where there's a record cost of living for everybody. Even rich people are bitching about it. And you have the audacity to raise your price so you can profit more off of it. Like, come on, man, get fucked, dude. Nobody needs your service like that. And honestly, I could cancel it tomorrow and be happy with Prime, Apple TV. And I mean, I have everything, you know, obviously for the show, but, you know, like, they can go fuck themselves, you know?
Well, I mean, at least with like Hulu, I mean, like, at least they give you bundles, you know what I mean? But Netflix doesn't even do that. Like, you're paying $24.99 for what? You know?
Hulu has a bundle, you know. I mean, obviously they give you the bundle deals with Disney Plus and ESPN Plus.
They did one with Stars, but you know, they give you those options though.
And they have cable TV with it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, did they really think everybody was just gonna, you know, sit down and take this price increase because you bought the rights to Raw? You overpaid for it to get it off cable TV?
Well, it seems like their mentality is that they're still living where it was just them and Hulu. They don't understand that there's all these other streaming services that you're, you know.
And on top of that, there's all kinds of free streaming services that you can use that have decent quality entertainment on it.
See?
They have proven movies that were out in theaters that are entertaining to watch, not just shitty made for streaming movies that kind of fucking suck. Let's be honest here. But I mean, the bottom line is Netflix, you can
go fuck yourself.
I mean, it all boils down to greed. Like, how? Because here's the thing, and you know this, and you know it too. You worked in a retail side of the food industry,
yeah,
and we've worked in retail for years. The needle has to keep going forward at all costs. It doesn't matter whether it's getting rid of employees or raising prices. It's like, remember, we had an old district manager that would come in and he was like, when people complain about the prices, you tell them our prices are good.
Yeah, you just tell them that.
You tell them, you know, we may not be the lowest, but our prices are good.
How about I just go back to stocking the aisles?
And you know for a fact that CEO of fucking Netflix, he's going into these meetings and he's like, our entertainment is good. When people bitch about the price, you tell them our entertainment is good.
Sir, you know that we're not the only ones now, right?
We release a new season of Stranger Things every 3 years. You can watch that over and over again until the 3 years. And don't get us started on Wednesday. We've got one season, and it's taken us 2.5 years to get the next season out. So you tell people our entertainment is good.
You can watch that baby in a good 6 hours and forget all about it.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
I mean, at some point, we as the consumer have to collectively stand up to these companies and tell them to go fuck off. I mean,
all these companies.
We need to
all of them.
And that's the problem. Nobody is organized here. There's no giant movement online that says, hey, let's all get together and we're all going to fucking cancel next month, and we're going to hurt them for a fucking month, and we'll see if those price increases stick. Because I guarantee you, if even 30% of Netflix subscribers canceled, how much money is that they're going to lose in a month? And it's going to fucking hurt them. It's going to hurt them, and stockholders that, essentially set the demands and the tone of how the company is ran are going to be pissed. And they're going to say, hey, you are fucking our money up by raising the price on this, so we're not making money off your stocks. So fix it. That's what it's going to come down to eventually. But, I mean, you got people out here that are complaining about the price of eggs, and somehow they're still affording these price hikes and just accepting it.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it's probably, I don't know. With me, I don't even see Netflix come out, but unless I look for it, obviously. But I think a lot of people just have it on that credit card or that bank account, and it's just, it comes out and they don't notice it. So it's not an issue to them until they see articles like this, like, oh, they're really fucking me over here. They're bending me over and expecting me to pay for their outlandish spending habits.
Right.
So I don't know. It just pisses me off. I mean, I don't think HBO and, now it's Max has ever had this many price increases. I mean, HBO's always kind of been at the $17 to $15 range. I think it used to be $12 back in one part, but it was always fairly expensive as an add-on to your cable bill. But that being said, they've always had stellar quality shows.
Right.
I mean, they've not, beat around the bush and just thrown bullshit at you to, have an immense amount of content up there. They actually invest in the content, and they get the best people they can to make the best quality shows they can. And Netflix is just, it's a fucking collection of shitty shows and movies. And they don't even get like good quality, shows that have ended anymore. So, because other platforms own that content, so they just keep it. But I don't know, man. I think at some point Netflix is going to shoot themselves in the foot with all these price hikes. Because, I mean, eventually people are going to get tired of it. And I think there is a large amount of people bitching about this. And the number one thing I see is shitty shows and shitty movies. Why am I paying for this? Just to wait for that one season of Stranger Things or the one season of the show that you like that takes them 3 years to get out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
So why screw yourself over? Just watch Tubi if you want shit movies.
Yeah.
At least you're more entertained.
At least it's free. And
it's free and entertaining.
When those ads come on, let's face it, it's an excuse to get on your phone. You don't fucking look at the ads.
It's a commercial, same thing.
They don't do anything for you. You're not going to the fucking doctor like, I want that prescription of the commercial I saw on fucking Tubi.
Right.
So, but I mean, listen, it's like PBS said, it's like we had this system figured out years ago. And as much as we hate it, advertisers pay the bill. And I think it's proven now that subscribers can't pay the bills 100%. At least they can't pay for the profits that the obscene profits that these CEOs want. So, I mean, you got to advertise it. And I don't know why they don't get creative and just play when you launch the ad, they play one fucking ad that they sell for a boatload of fucking money. And that's it. Like, why can't they do that?
Sir, you're talking common sense.
I mean, listen, if you're looking for audience retention, it doesn't matter. If somebody shows a fucking ad, their attention's gone now. They're going right to the phone. So it's not like there's some, evidence that people are actually paying attention to these ads. Right. But, I mean, other than, sales might, jump from something. But I still beg to differ on that. But, all right, so we're going to talk one last segment here. And I'm lost here on my thing. Where's the dun-dun-dun? Man, we're only an hour and 13 minutes into this episode, and I'm worn out from bitching about Netflix. So you didn't watch this, I don't think, did you, PBS?
I haven't checked it out yet.
But it's a pretty good show. We're going to talk about Paradise. It's a new show on Hulu. Just premiered this week. They launched 3 episodes. So they give you just enough to get you hooked in this thing. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, I'm sure you would
appreciate this movie.
Yeah, you'll definitely appreciate this, but they kind of advertise it as something that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the end of the first episode, they drop a bomb on you and you're like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. I'm into this now. But it's very much a political thriller type show.
Yeah.
So
I think it was kind of marketed almost like as like kind of like a something. It wasn't that though.
Well,
I
you
can't remember
hear
what's
so here, I'm going to put this up on the screen here.
Yeah, political thriller.
So it's Paradise here, starring
Sterling K. Brown.
Let's get this Nosferatu fucking ad off here. It's not going off, okay? Yep, so Sterling Brown stars in this, James Marsden. What's her name? Chris Marshall.
Chris, yeah.
Julianne Nicholson, you'll recognize her immediately. She's played in a ton of shit. And then I think that's kind of all of the noticeable people. But very entertaining show. And the way they advertised it is, James Marsden's the president, and Sterling Brown is his Secret Service agent that he's
like
personally
he's
personally assigned to the president, requested from the president. But the way they advertised it was kind of like, when I became president, I asked all the serious questions about aliens and this conspiracy theory. And then they go, the president's missing or something like that. They kind of make it seem like the president's kidnapped, which isn't the case.
Like abducted or something, like it's supernatural.
But, I mean, spoiler alert here, the president gets assassinated. And, it's kind of like a race to figure out why the president was assassinated. And obviously something's taken and they need to figure out what the fuck's going on. But, man, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because at the end they drop this bomb on the end of the first episode. They drop this bomb and kind of explain what's going on in this world that they're in.
Yeah.
And
they kind of do a little bit of flashbacks too. Of the relationship with the agent.
It's very much a show that kind of goes back and forth in between time, and you kind of get fed bits and pieces of certain things that kind of give you a clue as to what's going on and why certain characters are mad at each other. And it's very entertaining and very thought-provoking. If you are a political thriller type person, which I know PBS is, you're going to fucking love this show. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, it's right up your alley too, because there's a really big conspiracy theory that this show is kind of written off of. So that makes it even kind of, more entertaining. If you're like me, I love conspiracy theories. I think they're fun. I think I would assume, they're all bullshit for the most part, but maybe a minute % of them.
I feel like this is kind of.
It makes you wonder if there's something like this being built,
I think so.
But
when you start mentioning anything about billionaires and being secretive, I think it
and
sorry.
That's funny. Like, one of the main characters is like a big tech billionaire, and they kind of get privy to some information, and they start doing things behind the scenes to kind of avoid it. Which, if you've paid attention to anything, it's kind of like connected to like real world implications today. So it's got good writing, good acting. It's very well directed.
I really like Sterling K. Brown as like the
he is so underrated.
Like the no nonsense like agent, but loving husband and family man.
I'm trying to find a trailer for this real quick, but man, I'm ready to like tune into this every week, dude. Like, I'm hooked. I can't wait to see it.
And I like James Marsden as the president.
Yeah, he's really good in that role, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought he's kind of mad, but like with this role, it's really good.
It's been a while since he's had like a really, really like serious type role.
Right.
I mean, when you think of James Marsden nowadays, you think of like the silly, Sonic dad character, So
I always think of that in Disturbing Behavior as like one of his very first movies.
Yeah, when he was a teenager there, and when he was Cyclops too, but. I mean, that's not nearly. It doesn't nearly hold the weight of this role.
No.
So,
and he played a good Cyclops, from my opinion. For what it was.
I think this is quite a challenge for Marsden, and I think he's crushing it so far in this show.
Great. Yeah.
Let's see if we can watch this trailer here without we got an ad here. Let's mute that.
Don't worry, you won't be able to afford it here in about another month or so.
Yeah. Yeah, get it in while you still can before everything else becomes unaffordable.
Yeah.
This is the thing, like 30-second ads, man, feel like an eternity.
It does, but like I just think of it as a commercial, so you know what I mean.
But that's what it is, Rob.
Yeah. Well, people just keep reference as an ad, so it's just a commercial. So.
Get off your fucking phone, PBS.
President.
I'm watching an ad. I got to be on my phone.
Mr. President.
Agent Collins, come on in.
This is true.
When I became president, first thing I asked was about the secrets. Aliens. Who killed JFK? Out of every one of my details, you don't know what I really trust. I'd like to talk to you about the future.
You're about to be entrusted with top secret national security information. Should you wish to proceed, you will be one of the few privy to this information at this stage. Do you wish to proceed?
You're going to want to hear
Fuck
this.
yeah.
You're married, right?
I love you, baby.
Yes, sir.
Got kids?
Yes, sir. A girl named Presley and a boy named James.
No, please don't tickle me, please.
You gonna have any more?
I'd love to, but no, sir.
Definitely a very, very smart move.
Oh!
I'm going to kill your family.
Mr. President. Call it in. Our people only now.
Very important people are very upset. They've got questions.
You were the last person to see the president alive. Did you kill him?
No.
That chick is the chick from For All Mankind. Another fucking stellar show.
Is that Chris Marshall?
Yeah, another fucking stellar show from Apple TV Plus.
And our boy.
Yeah.
Xavier, is a part of you happy that Cal is dead?
Like, what the fuck?
I have a message from the president. He said if something should happen to him, I should find you.
Everything's gonna be looked at from here on out.
They're about to tell everybody that Cal died of natural causes.
The president loved you.
The relentless man who never stopped.
I see a man who loves his family.
Children are worth protecting.
We have a functional system in place. You need to leave this alone.
Baby, I need you to do exactly what I ask right now.
My fellow Americans, you're aware of the situation we now face, and I want to tell you the truth.
I don't know what to do.
Kill them all.
Yeah, you do.
DEI. DOE.
Read between the lies. Rob's done. He can't read.
Yeah.
I pick up a book and I start burning.
Listen, man, I'm 3 episodes in and it is fucking.
I'm on 2
episodes. It's amazing. I'm hooked. I'm ready to watch it every week, and I am highly recommending you get on Hulu and watch this shit because it is that good.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
They could totally crash and burn with the next 7 episodes or whatever that they have.
8, 10, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is. But it's definitely like my newest favorite show aside from the new Dexter.
I still haven't checked that out yet.
Oh, dude, that's so good, man. They just I didn't watch this past Friday, but the Friday before they dropped a big bomb on it, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, I know you said the woman who plays Deb is like spot on.
Yeah, they're all spot on for the most part. The guy that plays Dexter is pretty spot on, but
Christian Slater plays the father in this one,
yes,
right?
Yes, and then what is the guy's name? Now I got to look it up now. He plays the police chief. Dexter. Let's see here. Original Sin is the actual name.
That's right.
And this is on Paramount Plus. So Patrick Gibson's the guy. The name
Patrick
plays,
Dempsey.
Yeah, Patrick Dempsey plays the police chief too. But it's kind of funny. Like they have like all the original characters that are in the police unit from the original Dexter. Mm-hmm. So you get to see Maria LaGuerta as a young detective, and she's kind of getting shit on by the police chief because, you know, she's a little bit of a showboat. And then
Christina Milian plays Maria LaGuerta.
Yes. And then James Martinez plays Batista. He's pretty spot on. And then they've got a guy that plays young Masuka. Masuka's got hair in this one, so you get to see him with hair. And, of course, he's the same type of character, always hitting on women that is virtually out of his league. But very entertaining show. So that's all we have for you for episode 202 of La Sleazy Podcast. As always, I recommend my call to action is to recommend the show to a friend, family member, whatever. Share the show on your social media. Let people know you're listening to the show. And from there, we'll get another listener. And once they start listening or watching, we'll get another loyal member of the Sleazy Army. And, make sure you, as Avi always, make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. I think we grew a couple of numbers the past couple weeks, so that was kind of cool. Not very many, just a couple here and there, but one or two adds up after a while, right? And what else can we get? Like the TikToks, social media posts.
We're all on platforms.
Yeah, just make sure you're engaging with us, and we will engage back. So if you have seen a Robzilla egg UAP, let us know, and because we'd like proof of that he actually moves. And
I miss my family, so
yeah,
I gotta find them.
But keep it sleazy.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.